Today we're going to talk about very commonly asked questions in homeschool. I hope you come along and yeah, we'll talk about it. Hi, my name is Amanda from Learning to Love Well, and today we are going to talk about commonly asked questions and probably commonly Googled questions. So I just simply today typed in my Google search commonly asked questions about homeschool. Before we get into that though, my name is Amanda from Learning to Love Well. We are a family of homeschoolers of 8 years. We have 4 children ranging from 7th grade all the way down to just starting his kindergarten curriculum. And yeah, so we've been doing this a little bit, and we are a very eclectic homeschool. We kind of pull different resources. We are a Christian, biblical-based homeschool, and we do this for multiple reasons, from a faith-based conviction, as well as I really like my kids and we like hanging out with them, and we really want to have access to what our children are learning. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So, and excuse my face, I didn't bother putting on makeup. I mean, we're hanging out, you know, I don't need to put on makeup, right? No. Well, this is going to depend very highly on your state. So there is a website that I'll pull up. It's called HSLDA. It's Homeschool League Defense. And they will actually lay out for you how you get started in your area to homeschool. So it goes state by state. When we were in Hawaii, all we had to do was submit a letter of intent to the closest public school where they would be attending. Here in North Carolina, you actually have to set up a legal homeschool. The next thing is curriculum selection. Find out what works for you. And then you basically just start homeschool, keeping the legal requirements and teaching your kids at home. This is one of those questions that I think homeschool moms are used to getting, or they already know that this question is going to come up because maybe you grew up and there was a stigma of those that were homeschooled. And honestly, this is one of those things where you're just like, yes, they will get socialized. As long as you are interacting with the public in some way. I have actually found that my children are actually better equipped in social circles that they wouldn't be if they were in public school. So if you think about public school, you have 20 kids interacting with one teacher, and they're interacting with their peer group. They are only learning how to interact with their teachers and their peer group. When you are a homeschooling family, you are interacting, if you are out in the community, plugged into a local church, which I highly recommend being plugged into a Bible-believing church, and you are talking with people, you are fellowshipping with others, you are, like tonight, my kids are actually at an extracurricular activity where they are interacting with people from all walks of life. On Sundays, they're at church. We have times at our church where we get together and we talk when we are doing things and interacting, and they're talking with people, you know, from 2 generations above them to 1 generation above them to their own generation. They are interacting with people all over the social spectrum from different walks of life. And yeah, so my kids are constantly being socialized. When they go out to the store and they're interacting with the cashiers, they're learning how to do business. When we go to the library and we talk to people, we've done STEM things at the local library. We have friends that come over, and my kids are learning how to interact with even a baby as young as 4 months old. So they are learning how to socialize, interact, how to treat people from all walks of life, ages, and yeah, learning the culture of many people. So will my children get socialized? It really depends on how much you socialize them. They won't just come out of school with the socialization of their peer group, which I actually think is an advantage, because when you enter the workforce, you are not just entering your peer group, right? You're working with people who are much older. You're working with people who are younger. You are interacting with people from all different walks of life. And I think it's actually an advantage to learn how to carry a conversation with multiple generations and people from all over the different spectrums of life. So yes, actually, your kids get very socialized. Okay, so I interrupt this video for an Editing Amanda break. I gave a lot of practical advice, and I realized I didn't give the most practical advice. Is if you are looking for curriculum suggestions, make sure to take time to connect with God and just pray about it. That is actually how I found master books, and how I have worked a lot of things out over the years is being prayerful about my curriculum and then doing a ton of research. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this advice. This is going to depend on what you are trying to get out of your homeschool. That is going to sound like such a blanket statement, and it's going to sound like a cop-out, but really it is 100% true. I have found over the years that I like traditional school-at-home setup curriculums, but I also like Charlotte Mason style curriculums. I also like getting hands-on and ditching the curriculums and doing kind of branching out and doing nature notebooking. I have found that I like getting my kids interacting at the library and picking out books that they want to read. This is going to really depend on what you want. Now, if you are one of those people that you really don't know where to start, there are actually tests you can take online that are like, what is my type of homeschooling? And they kind of give you like those personality tests, but it's not really. It's more like what you're trying to get out of it. And it'll kind of start pointing you in the right direction. If you are one of those people that want a teacher's guide, an open and go curriculum, and it's mostly parent-led, you're looking at more of a traditional school at home homeschooler. You have classical style where you're working with more open-ended rhetoric questions. There are so many styles of curriculum out there that really you just need to take a minute, breathe, think about what you want. I want my kids to know how to do reading really well. I want them to know how to write very well. I want them to learn how to do math very quickly and well, and I want them to master those skills. I want them to have an interest in science where they get some hands-on activities, but I want it from a biblical worldview. So I go with Answers in Genesis, and we also use master books. I want my kids to know how to use life skills later on in life. So we integrate very hands-on curriculum where my kids are cooking, where they're having to learn how to sew on buttons, where they're doing things with me. We take all the styles that we see in homeschool and we kind of implement it. And a lot of this will change over the years. So just because you start off with more of a traditional homeschool curriculum like a Becca or Horizons or something like that, which by the way, I love Horizons math. I don't think we'll ever use anything other than Horizons math. I'm sure I have a video about Horizons math. But anyway, I digress. When you find what you like, then you turn around and you can add different curriculums in according to what you want. If you want unit studies, there's Gather Around Homeschool. If you want all of your kids learning about the same unit study and you're only reading once and then they have a packet according to their age level, Gather Around Homeschool is a great curriculum for that. So really, it is more about what you are looking for and how you want to engage. If you want them online homeschool, there's online homeschool. If you want to be hands-off and you want your kids to kind of be able to go off with their little paces, there's Life Pack. There are so many curriculums out there, and a lot of it is watching YouTube tutorials about the different curriculums, listening to other moms who have bought it before and what they like and what they don't like. Going on Masterbook's website, looking at their samples, going on Horizons AOP website, looking at their samples, looking at a Becca, all of these different curriculums and kind of just taking it one step at a time and not knowing that you have to have your complete homeschool from K to 12 picked out that when you first start. Okay, so depending on what kind of homeschool curriculum you pick, this is going to change. If you go with like an Abeka curriculum or Horizons, you actually do have unit tests. For Horizons, it's every 10 lessons you have a test, so you can kind of gauge whether or not your child has learned. Here in North Carolina, we have to do state testing at the end of the year, so I actually can see a number to my children's progress just because it's actually required in my state. We do the SAT 10, and so I actually see how well they've done based on those testing. This, my kids just came in, so I'm going to wrap this video up, is, hi, baby. So this question's pretty simple, and it's simple because really as much as you want to put into it. So there are people who spend $7,000 a year for one child to go online, and they don't have to do any of the grading or anything else. There are people who do absolutely free curriculums. There are people who do absolutely free curriculums, which like Easy Peasy and things like that, there are actually free online curriculums. There are people who piece together their curriculums and really spend as much as it costs for a notebook. There are people who go to thrift stores and buy their curriculums. There are people who buy their stuff on eBay so that they get them for a lower price. I know for like Abeka readers and some of the Abeka teacher's guides and stuff like that, or unused curriculum, a lot of people will turn around and sell it on eBay and make some money back. And it's a cheaper alternative than buying it just from the store. So, or from their website. So how much you spend on homeschool is going to depend on how much your budget is and what you're looking for in a homeschool. So we have 4 children. Our budget for curriculum is $1,000 a year. Now, for some people, that is going to be like, whoa, that's a lot. And then for some people, they're going to be like, what do you buy for $1,000 a year? Like one curriculum from certain companies is $1,000 a year, if not more. For us, because we use companies like Masterbooks, because I have found that I reuse my readers, because we have found a Seconds bookstore that is absolutely free. It's just donation based if you want to give a donation, because we have found thrift stores that carry good books. We found like a whole Abeka lot reader set at a thrift store for 25 cents a piece. We have a lot of things that we were able to do and be very thrifty with it. So $1,000 a year covers their math, their curriculums, their extracurricular curriculums, their cursive curriculums, their language A, their Abeka language curriculums, their Masterbooks curriculums, and yeah. And then I reuse curriculums based on, you know, I'll save the teacher's guide and then just buy the new workbook from Horizons. And yeah, so that's how I've rotated over the years. And then when we get our new budget, I also buy anything supplemental. Like I'll wait till Black Friday and I'll go on and get things like phone blocks or clocks for telling time, or place value blocks or things like that. And I tend to be a little bit more strategic with my buying because we don't want to put a ton of money into our homeschool curriculum costs. So with that being said, really, it is going to be not one size fits all. In fact, it is very unique to your family situation. If you have a comment about any of these questions, drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer more directly according to your question. These were just generic questions that I Googled because I was like, commonly asked questions. So if there's anything else you want to know, drop a comment below. I'll either make a new video on it or I will just go ahead and answer your question in the comments. Well, I hope you got something out of this. I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night and God bless.